Jon Jones talking about Alex Pereira using magic for his fights. We all know Yuri Prohatska was saying how Alex was channeling spirits before his fights, and he even pleaded with him not to for their fight last Saturday at UFC 303. But here, Jon Jones weighs in on the subject, saying there has been a lot of talk about spirit channeling and magic in MMA lately. This stuff is all very real. I felt all types of weird energies walking into those arenas, looking certain opponents in the eyes. I want to let you all know that Jesus Christ is King. He is and always will be undefeated. Every knee shall bow. I agree with Jon Jones here when he says that this stuff is very real. And in fact, it's no different from what he's doing. When Alex Pereira does his little thing and his rituals and the walk out with the arrow pull, that's a ritual. That's no different from Habib talking to Allah or Jones talking to Christ. It's no different in these things, guys. It's just because maybe Alex's spirituality from his tribe in the jungles of Brazil may be a little bit different from, a mainstream religion like Christianity or Islam. But the idea that you are connecting to the spiritual world, the world that is unseen, all of these things that are unexplainable by scientists and, people in lab coats that a lot of you guys tend to bow down to, it's still all very real, even though it is unexplainable. And, I think personally, the reason why Yuri lost, besides the fact that he's going in there against a really good guy that's well skilled and has a lot of power, a big reason why he lost was because he wasn't focused on himself. He was focused too much on what Alex Pereira was doing, and he was focused on asking Alex not to do it. Can you please, sir, not channel the spirits against me, please? Rather than focusing on himself and, channeling his own spirit, so to speak, focusing on himself and developing a faith of his own, whether it be within himself, whether it be in God, or whatever the case may be. Habib Nurmagomedov, when he talks about, his God, the Islamic God, Allah, when he talks about him, it's a very powerful thing. It gives him discipline, it gives him faith, it gives him, encouragement when he's down about Allah is the best of planners. When he was injured in his career, it carried him and it gave him, it gave him and his spirit motivation to push on. Habib has been injured so many times, guys, in his career. Please look up how many times he's been injured. It's been several times with bad injuries, rib injuries, back injuries, knee injuries, you name it. And Habib, a lesser man with less faith in God, himself, etc., would have retired from the sport. You know what I'm saying? But Habib stayed true to it and ended up being a champion and ended up as one of the greats of all time. Jon Jones as well. Jon Jones is another guy. Jon Jones, he channels something. He channels that, positive spirit. He channels the spirit of Jesus Christ, and so did Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder. That build up in particular, I've watched many times. I've sat down and studied intently the face-off between him and Deontay, where Deontay is going, "Bomb Squad!" and he's going crazy, and he's talking about his alter ego and the spirits that he lets in and that he channels to be violent and catch a body in the ring, etc., etc. And Tyson Fury was just telling him, well, I believe in Jesus Christ, etc., etc. And there's something to that. There's something to this faith. There's something to this belief. There's something to the prayer. And I like that people are talking about this now. I like that people are talking about spirituality more, because more over time we're becoming more of a almost nihilistic society where we believe more in money and material things and, just at the end of the day, bullshit, science, and I know people are gonna say, "Oh, he thinks science is bullshit," but bro, it kind of is. You know what I mean? It kind of is. Like, there's real science and then there's fake science, and I'm not gonna get into that right now, but the truth is, we're in a society that is going away from that. We're in a hedonistic society now that's going away from these things. And I think the conversation should be had about spirituality and the different types of spirituality and the different types of worship, you know? What do you worship? Do you do good deeds? If you do good deeds, you're on the right path. If you don't, if you're out drinking every night, or every weekend rather, and you're doing bad things and constantly, lusting for the flesh and etc., you know, you're not on the right path. And that's the thing. I like the Islamic and Christian ideals and their outlook on things, because they give you a straight up outline for what's good and what's bad. You know what I mean? They give you an outline for these things, and it's clear as day, and it's true. I believe in it. I believe in both of them. I think they both make great points, and I think it's true. Like, you shouldn't be lustful for the flesh. You shouldn't be lazy, sloth. You know what I mean? You shouldn't, like the 7 deadly sins in Christianity. There are people who live all of those sins: gluttony, sloth, lust, wrath. There's a couple more, but off the top of my head, it's tough, man. Forgive me, please. Pride is another one. Oh yes, and greed. Greed. Conor McGregor fell victim to that when he ended up fighting Floyd instead of staying true to himself and true to the MMA path that he was on. He fell victim to the love of money, and money became his god, as opposed to, believing in himself and believing in, a higher power. I know he claims Christianity and things like that, but the truth is Conor chose the money. Conor chose to fight Floyd in a fight that he wasn't favored to win, and he most likely wasn't going to win, but he knew that he was going to get $100 million at the end of the day. And we see how that worked out for him. Look at where he is now. In terms of his career, he's kind of a joke at this point, you get me? Whereas money-wise, monetarily, yeah, he set up his family for generational wealth, so I guess you can't really be too mad at him. But look at the example he sets, He cheats on his woman all the time in public. This isn't, I'll say allegedly. I'll say it, but we've seen it. It's on video, my boy. It's on video. And, he's just kind of a bad example for people out there, and it just is what it is. So overall, big picture point, I do like this conversation about spirituality that's evolving in the MMA spaces. I do like that Yuri brought this up, and I kind of wish, and here's the thing, Sean Strickland was right when he was talking about the liberal MMA media and stuff like that, because a lot of these guys, I don't think they believe in God. I think a lot of them are atheists. I think a lot of them believe in their lab coat scientists and their blue hairs and things like that. This is just my own personal opinion on the MMA media at large. And they don't really, not all of them, but most of them, they don't really care to dive deeper into that spiritual aspect and spiritual conversation. Because if I was there, if I was asking Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira questions, man, you would have got some fascinating questions and answers and a nice interview out of me, man, because the questions I would have asked would have been deep, spiritual questions that a lot of people want to talk about and think about and discuss. So that's pretty much it, man. I love that it's developing. I love that people are weighing in on it. Jon Jones weighing in on it. And I'm here for it. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Whether you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and leave a like if you enjoy the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.